G'day guys and welcome to this week's vlog on Brachial Neuritis and Parsonage Turner syndrome. This is an update as to my progress in recovery. I've now had it for 10 weeks and I've been vlogging. This is the sixth consecutive week that I will be vlogging about my recovery and progress. So the interesting thing is this week I'm actually putting this up quite late. I normally try to do my updates, my push-up updates on a Sunday. And I did my first recording on a Tuesday, and the reason was because I got back from India and I went away on a what we call a winery walkabout weekend. It's we go into this wine region and we get a bus. There's about 12 of us, and we just cruise around. We're all dressed up in fancy dress, just doing basically a giant pub crawl in a bus amongst these wineries. All of the wineries do sort of a different theme. They put on a show. They've got music there. It's really good. But obviously, as in terms of fitness, health, well-being, none of that was taken into account this weekend. It was very full-on. A lot of excessive drinking, excessive eating. You know, calories would have been blown out. We're talking like up to 6,000 a day sort of thing with the kind of volumes that we were drinking and eating in excess and so on. So it was a very downtime weekend, a solid 5 days of doing absolutely no exercise. It was also the long weekend, I should mention. For whatever reason in Australia, we celebrate the Queen's birthday, which, having lived in the UK for several years, I know they do not celebrate in the UK, but in Australia we celebrate the Queen's birthday, so thanks. Anyway, the recovery this week has been very unusual because I took that time off of training while I was in India just because there weren't facilities, so it was very difficult to be doing my routine, to be trying to engage different muscle groups and so on, which makes these results maybe it's directly related to this, but also a little bit of a surprise for me. So here's some footage of the Tuesday morning when I started my push-up routine. And, I wasn't really thinking about it when I started this. I just sort of went, let's go until I can't stop anymore, fully expecting my right side to give up, and I was hoping, honestly, to hit about the 33, 34 mark, and then start seeing that weakness, that failure on the right side. But as you're about to notice, something interesting did happen, and I wasn't really counting or paying attention, and I just started noticing that my whole body became tired. And hopefully what you've noticed just there is I didn't actually fail on the one side. And when I went back and counted, it turns out it was 35, but it was both sides that failed. So this is footage from a couple days later. It's now Thursday, and I wanted to I got a friend to film this for me. I wanted to see, can we notice this failure? And I ended up doing push-ups again to failure. This time I was, very assertive to the fact that I got to go all the way as far as I can. I knew I was trying to beat at least 35. And then this time I managed to get 38 push-ups. And again, it wasn't failure on the right side. It was failure on both sides. I was completely exhausted. Now, what I decided to do immediately after, and I'm going to talk over this footage, was just to actually find a point of failure, because what I'm discovering, and it's probably because I've been resting my right side and left side for so long, I think that I've basically found not a failure with strength, but a failure with fatigue. I'm just getting tired. So that's why immediately afterwards I jumped on the barbell. I started pushing, going up 10 kilos at a time. So I started off with 50, then 60. Now we're looking at 70. I'm just doing sets of 8 and trying to find that point of fatigue and something that's failing. Preferably not under, at the same time. I definitely want to find that right side failing to prove that I've still got my brachial neuritis and Parsonage Turner syndrome. So here you can see we're up to 80 kilos. This is a reasonable amount of weight. I mean, it's nothing compared to what I was doing, 3 months ago. I was comfortably doing 120, 130, maxing out at 140 for single reps. So now we're looking at 90 kilos, which is, you're not breaking any records, but it's a respectable amount. This is where I ended up failing. And I actually asked my friend holding the camera to come around so that you could see the fail. I could feel it happening. But definitely what this has shown me is that there's been some unusual rate of recovery there. And what I'm probably finding is that the rate of decrease in strength on the left side due to not being able to use it and due to trying to keep it excessive. There you can see, definitely right side failing. And that's complete failure. Like I had those bars there this time. So I think what we're seeing here is basically the left side has diminished in strength and the right side has been slowly increasing in strength. And now they've hit that middle point. And I'm having to do things which are less about volume and more about weight and strength and power to be able to achieve that feeling of failure. So I'm going to have a think about it over the next couple of days, and I'm going to report back as to my approach, because I want to be able to report this and track it properly so that I can see where it is, or track my progress. I mean, maybe it's no longer push-ups that I can use to record it, because I suspect that I'm going to have a very even sort of push-up. It might have to be tricep isolation and heavier weights to be able to track my progress in terms of recovery for the brachial neuritis. So guys, look, I hope this was of value. It's certainly interesting for me when you compare it to the previous videos and my progression. I think this is quite different to the results I've had. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching. If you do want to find out how I keep going, how this evolves, because I do plan to evolve it and get to a point where I have a definitive conclusion, like I am now cured. I suspect that it's probably, non-linear. I don't imagine that it's going to be, just all the way to, hey, I'm back to bench pressing, 120 kilos comfortably on both sides within a couple of weeks. I do imagine it's going to drop off a little bit, but if you're interested in following the progress, seeing how I tweak it, I definitely want to dive in a little deeper about what's happened over the last couple of weeks and why I suggest this might be happening, or why I think it might be happening. I do also plan to go and see my physiotherapist this week and have a good chat with him about this, show him the same video, sort of go, dude, what do you think? Is it an anomaly? Is it because I've had a bit of rest? What is it? So if you do want to see more, please subscribe. If you've got any comments, anything you think I should be considering, thoughts, opinions, ideas about something I should be trying, please do leave them in the comments below. And otherwise, I'll check in with you in 1 week. Cheers.